Welcome, dear students. Welcome to the third chapter of Class 9 Democratic Politics, that is, Constitutional Design. This chapter is available in two parts. This is the first part of the chapter. But before starting the chapter, many queries were there from students that whether they have to make notes out of it or not, whether it has to be done in fair copy or rough copy. So I should make you very clear that notes are to be prepared, that has to be prepared in your fair copy. And yes, you have to work hard for it. If we are performing out of the box during this time, you also need to perform out of box. You have to prepare the notes in fair copy. So, let us start the third chapter, that is Constitutional Design. This is the part 1 and this chapter is available in two parts. So, first of all, let us quickly know that what we have to read in this chapter. What are the contents of this chapter? What is a constitution? Democratic constitution in South Africa. Struggle against apartheid. The end of policy of apartheid. Towards a new constitution. Nelson Mandela. Why do we need a constitution? Do we need a constitution? Circumstances under which the Indian constitution was drawn up. The path to constitution. The Constituent Assembly. The Indian Constitution, a living document. Guiding values of Indian Constitution. These all we have to study in this chapter. Now, the name of the chapter is Constitutional Design. So, let us first of all know that what is the definition of constitution. Basically, this lesson deals with word constitution as a whole. The example of South Africa with respect to apartheid is explained. The period in which Indian constitution was made is discussed. The key features of constitution are discussed. So, the story lies, the whole story, this chapter deals with the word constitution. So, let us know what is constitution. Constitution is a set of written rules that are accepted by all people living together in a country. It is the supreme law that determines the relationship among people living in a territory and also the relationship between people and government. It generates a degree of trust and coordination among the people. It specifies power of the government and how it should function. It limits the power of government and ensures certain rights to the people. This is what is constitution. Now, we'll start the chapter with the story of a nation, South Africa. Democratic constitution in South Africa. Struggle against apartheid. So, many a times you might have heard the word apartheid. So with the help of some images, first of all, with the help of some images, I would like to make you know that what is apartheid. After that, I will explain it to you. See the slide. Apartheid is referred to the policy of discrimination on the basis of race or skin color. People are discriminated on the basis of the color of the skin and their race, means their origin. Now look at some images. Caution is there. Be aware of natives. Natives means those who are the permanent resident, means black. Two signboards are there. European on the right hand side and non-European, the blacks, on the left hand side. Now here you can see for use by white person, and after that it is written in African language for use by black persons. Danger sign. You might see drink Coca-Cola ice cold, white customers only. It is clearly written, white customers only. Here, drinking fountain, white colored on the left side and colored. Colored means the Indians as well as the black on the right hand side. So I hope you have understood with the help of this some of the figures which I have shown you. Now let us discuss in brief first of all. Democratic constitution in South Africa, struggle against apartheid. Now, how was apartheid practiced in South Africa? The apartheid system was particularly oppressive for blacks. They were forbidden from living in white areas. They were not allowed to move to the area where white people lived. They could work in white areas only if they had a permit. They needed permission. There were separate schools and universities, separate shopping centers, separate coaches in trains. Marriage between persons belonging to two races was a criminal offense. Two races means from two origin, European, non-European, was a criminal offense. They were imprisoned. There were restrictions on movement from one place to another. Non-whites had no votes. The policy of apartheid denied human rights to the non-whites. Trains, buses, taxis, hotels, hospitals, schools and colleges, libraries, cinema halls, theaters, beaches, swimming pool, public toilets were all separate for the whites and the blacks. This is what you call is segregation. They could not even visit the churches where whites worshipped. Black could not form association or protest against the terrible treatment. Now, let us discuss all the things in detail. Apartheid was the name of a system of racial discrimination in South Africa. Apartheid refers to the official policy of racial separation and ill treatment of blacks followed by the white government of South Africa between 1948 and 1989. This practice of racial discrimination remained for the longest period in South Africa. During the 17th and 18th century, the trading companies from Europe occupied it with arms and force. In this way, they occupied India also. But unlike India, a large number of whites had settled in South Africa. In India, blacks means colored, the Indians, the natives, the Indians, the natives, the colored, all are same, were more in number. But in South Africa, large number of whites had settled in South Africa and became the local rulers. The system of apartheid divided the people and labeled them on the basis of their skin color. The native people of South Africa are black in color. They made up of about 3/4 of the population and were called blacks. Besides these two groups, there were people of mixed races who were called colors and people who migrated from India. So, blacks, colored and people who migrated from India. The white rulers treated all non-whites as inferiors. The non-whites did not have voting rights. The apartheid system was particularly oppressive for the blacks. They were forbidden from living in white areas. They could work in white areas only if they had a permit. Trains, buses, taxis, hotels, hospitals, schools and colleges, libraries, cinema halls, theaters, beaches, swimming pool, public toilets were all separate for the whites and blacks. This was called segregation. They could not even visit the churches where the whites worshipped. Blacks could not form associations or protest against the terrible treatment. This is all about the practice of apartheid and segregation in South Africa. Now, how this policy of apartheid ended. In 1910, the African National Congress was formed, which aimed at establishing a non-racial democratic South Africa. The movement was intensified in the 1950s. Intensified means it came into motion, effective. In 1960s, the African National Congress was banned and its leaders were jailed. The African National Congress organized its own army to fight against the racial regime. Regime means government. The UN condemned the policy of South Africa, the policy of apartheid. They condemned. By the end of 1980s, the international isolation of the government of South Africa was complete. Means they were pressurized from all parts of the world against this policy. With it began the process of ending the apartheid. The ban on African National Congress was lifted and its leaders were released. Let us talk in detail. Since 1950, the blacks, colored and Indians fought against the apartheid system. They launched protest marches and strikes. The African National Congress was the umbrella organization. Now, what is umbrella organization? Means several other organizations were there. Those movements, rallies, strikes were there, but they were controlled by African National Congress. They were under the African National Congress. That's why it is called umbrella organization. It was an umbrella organization that led the struggle against the policy of segregation. This included many workers, unions, and the Communist Party. Many sensitive whites also joined ANC to oppose apartheid and played a leading role in this struggle. Several countries denounced apartheid as unjust and racist, but the white racist government continued to rule by detaining, torturing, and killing thousands. And finally, because of international pressure, it began the process of ending the apartheid, and ban on African National Congress was lifted and its leaders were released. Negotiations between African National Congress and South African government started for framing a new constitution, which would give all South Africans the right to vote. In April 1994, elections were held in South Africa as per new provisions. The African National Congress won with a thumping majority and formed a non-racial democratic government. Finally, at the midnight of 26th April 1994, the new national flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled, making the newly born democracy in the world. Now, before going towards a new constitution in South Africa, let us discuss in detail. As Protestant struggles against apartheid had increased, the government realized that they could no longer keep the blacks under their rule through repression. The white regime changed its policies. Discriminatory laws were repealed, means they were taken back. Discriminatory laws, the laws which discriminated between white and black. Ban on political parties and restrictions on the media were lifted, they were taken back. After 28 years of imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as a free man. Nelson Mandela is also known as Gandhi of South Africa. He walked out of jail. He was imprisoned for 28 years. Finally, at the midnight of 26th April 1994, the new national flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled, marking the newly born democracy in the world. The apartheid government came to an end, paving way for the formation of a multiracial government. Multiracial government means a government in which blacks are also there and whites are also there. Multiracial government. How did this come about? Let us talk about Nelson Mandela. The party that ruled through oppression and the party that led the freedom struggle sat together to draw up a constitution, and it gave to its citizens the most extensive rights available in any country. Both the parties, The party that ruled through oppression, oppression means who practiced apartheid based on discrimination, and the party that led the freedom struggle, that is African National Congress, they sat together to draw up a constitution, and it gave to its citizens the most extensive rights available in any country. The constitution makes it clear that in the search for a solution to the problems, nobody should be excluded. No one should be treated as a demon. Demon means those who ruled over the country with oppression, discrimination. Everybody should become part of the solution, whatever they might have done or represented in the past. Whatever they have done, they were ready to leave it, forget it, and make a multi-racial government. A remarkable constitution was made where they forgot past sufferings, sought cooperation of all the races, which make South Africa based on equality, democratic values, and social justice. Nelson Mandela. Before telling you anything about Nelson Mandela, let me tell you one of the famous speech of his. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. So he wanted to see a nation where no discrimination is there, democracy is there. As I told you, he was known as Gandhi of South Africa. Nelson Mandela being imprisoned for treason. Treason means one who treason, T-R-E-A-S-O-N. Treason means one who makes conspiracy against the government. One who makes conspiracy against government. So he was imprisoned for treason by white South African government. He and 7 other leaders were sentenced to life. Imprisonment in 1964 for daring to oppose the apartheid regime in his country. He spent the next 28 years in South Africa's most dreaded prison, that is Robben Island. Most dangerous prison, Robben Island. Nelson Mandela was one of the most able, efficient, and far-sighted leaders of the African National Congress. It was under his leadership that the struggle against apartheid reached its climax. You can see his image on the slide. In the 90s, due to activities of African National Congress and the support it got from other countries of the world, South African regime was completely isolated from the world. In order to create a favorable atmosphere, Nelson Mandela was released in the year 1990. In 1994, the first democratic elections were held and Nelson Mandela was elected the President of South Africa. He was declared in the year 1994 as the President of South Africa. Now, what changes were there after the end of apartheid? After the emergence of new democratic South Africa, black leaders appealed to fellow blacks to forgive the whites for their atrocities they had committed while in power. Look at this. Black leaders, they appealed the fellow blacks to forgive the whites. They said, let us build a new South Africa based on equality of all races and men and women, on democratic values, social justice and human rights. The party that ruled through oppression and brutal killings and the party that led the freedom struggle sat together to draw up a common constitution. After 2 years of discussion and debate, they came out with one of the finest constitutions the world has ever had. The constitution gave to its citizens the most extensive rights available in any country. Together, they decided that in the search for a solution to the problems, nobody should be excluded. No one should be treated as demon. They agreed that everybody should become part of the solution. Whatever they might have done in the past. The South African Constitution inspires Democrats all over the world. What made this change possible? What made this change possible was the determination of the people of South Africa to work together, to transform bitter experiences into binding glue. Glue, you understand? Gum of a rainbow nation. Rainbow, you have seen rainbow? So people of different color live together in South Africa. That's why it is called Rainbow Nation. Speaking on South African Constitution, Mandela said, the Constitution of South Africa speaks of both the past and the future. On the one hand, it is a solemn pact in which we as South Africans declare to one another that we shall never permit a repetition of our racist, brutal and repressive past. But it is more than that. It is also a charter for the transformation of our country into one which is truly shared by all its people. A country which is the fullest sense belongs to all of us, black and white, women and man. This was Nelson Mandela. This was the story of apartheid. This was the story of the end of apartheid and segregation in South Africa. This was a story towards a new constitution. This was a story of framing one of the finest constitution in the world. Now, the question comes in our mind that why do we need democracy? Why do we need constitution? Just suppose you are in a school. Why to suppose you are students, you have to be in school. And what is constitution? It is a set of law according to which a country is governed. So school is also having its own constitution. Which uniform you have to wear, on which day you have to wear. The first period will be of this, second period will be of this. This classes are there. Everything is mentioned in your diary. That is constitution of your school. Now the question is, just suppose that if our school will not have a constitution, then what is going to happen? Uniformity will not be there. If someone wants to come to school at 10 o'clock, they will come at 10 o'clock. If they want to go at 11 o'clock, they will go at 11 o'clock. Whatever they will, and a complete mishap will be there. So to run a school smoothly, what is required? A constitution is required. And that too not the oral one. Written constitution is required to run a school smoothly. The same how to run a country smoothly, we require constitution. And yes, the South African example is a good way to understand why we need a constitution. What do constitutions do? The oppressor and the oppressed in this new democracy were planning to live together as equals in South Africa. They were planning to live together as equals. It was not going to be easy for them to trust each other. They had their fears. They wanted to safeguard their interest. The black majority was keen to ensure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compromised. They believed in the principle of majority rule, means the majority should rule over the country. They wanted social and economic rights. On the other hand, the white minority was keen to protect its privileges and property. After long negotiations, both parties agreed to a compromise. The white agreed to the principle of majority rule and one person, one vote. They also agreed to accept some basic rights for the poor and the workers. On the other hand, the blacks agreed that majority rule would not be absolute. They agreed that majority would not take away the property of white minority. This compromise was not easy. How was this compromise going to be implemented? Even if they managed to trust each other, what was the guarantee that this trust will not be broken in future? The only way to build and maintain trust in such a situation is to write down some rules of the game that everyone would abide by. These rules lay down how the rulers are to be chosen in future. These rules also determine that the elected government are empowered to do and what they cannot do. Everything should be mentioned. Finally, these rules decides the rights of the citizen. These rules will work only if the winner cannot change them very easily. This is what the South Africans did. They agreed on some basic rules. They also agreed that these rules will be supreme, that no government will be able to ignore this. This set of basic rules is called a constitution. Now, apart from it, the constitution of a country is a set of written rules that are accepted by all living together in a country. Constitution is the supreme law that determines the relationship between people living in a territory called citizens, and also the relationship between people and government. A constitution does many things. Number one, it generates a degree of trust and coordination that is necessary for different kind of people to live together. It generates a degree of trust. Between whom? Between everyone. It generates a degree of trust between everyone. Between government and its organs. Legislature, executive, judiciary, central government, state government, local government, between government and people, between judiciary and people. Degree of trust is required between them. Degree of trust between different people who practice different religion. They belong to different caste. They belong to different class. Educated, uneducated, different culture, different language. The Constitution generates that degree of trust between everyone. It specifies how the government will be constituted, who will have the power to take which decision. Very clearly it is specified in the Constitution that how the government will be formed, who will have the power to take which decisions. Union list, state list, concurrent list, residual powers, everything is specified. Third, it lays down limits on the powers of the government and tells us what the rights of the citizens are, our fundamental rights, how we can use it. And the fourth, last but not the least, it expresses the aspiration of the people about creating a good society, fundamental duties. Many of the time we find that this is our fundamental right, but no, we have fundamental duties also. All countries that have constitution are not necessarily democratic, is the reality. But all countries that are democratic will have constitutions. I repeat it, all countries that have constitutions are not necessarily democratic, but all countries that are democratic will have constitution. After the War of Independence against Great Britain, the Americans gave themselves a constitution. After the revolution, French Revolution, the French people approved a democratic constitution. Since then, it has become a practice in all democracies to have a written constitution. Every country drafts its own constitution. A constitution of a nation is the set of written laws accepted by the people living together in a country. It generates trust and coordination, as already we have discussed. It specifies how a government should be constituted. It lays down limits on the power of the government. It expresses the aspiration of the people about creating a good society, fundamental duties I told you. That was all for this part. In the coming part, we will see about the making of the Indian Constitution, the path to Constitution, the Constituent Assembly, guiding values of Indian Constitution, the dream and the promise, the preamble of our Constitution, philosophy of the Constitution, and last, institutional design. We'll see in the next part. And again, I would like to repeat that yes, you have to make notes in your fair copy and it will be checked. Thank you.